Derek Neese Williams, a Howard University campus planner, gives us details on the school's master plan.
You need to have a holistic vision for what you're trying to accomplish before you set forth, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. So what we've done is actually devised a master plan for this campus, right? The 2020 Central Campus Master Plan that covers the 150-acre campus in the central section of the District of Columbia. And so that involves new construction, it involves renovation, and it holistically looks at all of the different elements of our campus, the historic buildings, transportation, parking, all of the landscapes, right? As well as all the academic buildings and the student life buildings that allow the students to spend time outside the classroom, right? Like your dormitory buildings, your student center, student union facilities, and things of that nature. So again, looking at the overall campus before we actually look at any individual project was really critical to this institution.
You've got a lot of historic buildings. How do you factor that into the mix?
Frederick Douglass Hall, right, built in 1932, had no Wi-Fi, no data connections, no screens in the classroom. There were blackboards, chalkboards in the classroom. And some of our more seasoned professors did appreciate the chalk, but the younger, more, adjuncts and whatnot, they definitely needed more technology in order to engage with a modern day student.
Talk about what goes into that.
A whole lot. I mean, so there are two aspects to the university's portfolio. There are institutional assets, right, which serve the mission directly in terms of having classroom buildings, student housing buildings, and things of that nature. There are also commercial assets that we have that we're developing in the portfolio to fund the mission. And so this area that we're in, right, Shaw of the District of Columbia, this neighborhood, and Pleasant Plains, it's one of the most lucrative areas in terms of change in land value over the last 10 years. So rents in this area are actually exceeding rents that you see in Georgetown and some of the other higher priced areas. So it's a really pivotal time, and you see a lot of tower cranes because there's both institutional work going on that's being funded by commercial work that's going on. But the important thing about how Howard University is going about both its institutional and its commercial development activities is it's all about mission. You look around on a higher ed campus, right, a university campus, and you see a lot of academic buildings, a lot of classroom buildings, et cetera, but students really only spend about 20% of their time in the classroom setting, right? The other 80%, they spend out in their dorm rooms, on the yard, in the cafeteria, et cetera, right, in the library studying. And so focusing on those amenity spaces, those study spaces, those socialization spaces is really critical to creating the unanimity on the campus that we want.
If I were to come back here years from now, will I recognize this as the Howard University that has always been here?
I think that you will. Again, the iconic buildings, and we're taking steps to actually expand the historic district that I mentioned to include a number of the buildings that were delivered during Mordecai Wyatt Johnson's presidency in partnership with Hilliard Robinson, who was the university's architect at the time. And so while there will be new buildings, there will be new capacities, there'll be new amenities, there'll be an increase in the number of students and the number of faculty and staff. The bones of this campus, right, the defining characteristics that you see in Albert Cassell's 1932 inaugural campus master plan, those aren't going away. And so as you see this campus change and morph, I've seen it change and morph just in my time here, it's still going to feel like home.
Thank you so very much for giving us an insight as to where Howard is going. Now let's go back to you at the studio.